Welcome to Extinction Rebellion, South Australia. This is a live videos feed from, at the moment, the city of West Torrens. We're talking about a climate action holiday. Well, actually, the Prime Minister's on holiday from taking climate action, and we're going to bring that to his attention today. We're on Brooker Terrace at West Torrens, next to the West Torrens City Council chambers, and we're marching at the moment to the office of Senator Simon Birmingham, who happens to be the most senior local South Australian minister in the state government, in the federal government. And as you can see, we have a lot of rebels out today. And you might have noticed the theme amongst those who are dressed here today. It's a holiday theme. Because the federal government has been in holiday mode when it comes to climate action. Hawaiian shirts. Not everybody, but many of us are in Hawaiian shirts because, as you may recall, our Prime Minister Scott Morrison was on holiday in Hawaii about a year ago, ignoring the climate crisis that was unfolding at home at the time. Well, it's a year later and the climate crisis is just as bad, if not worse. 70-odd houses were destroyed in Perth over the last couple of days in climate-fueled wildfires, bushfires. We had horrible bushfires in the Adelaide Hills only a few days ago. Cherry Gardens. The climate crisis is getting worse and worse and worse. And our Prime Minister and our government are still on a climate holiday. Great to be on holiday. Great to not have to worry about things while you're on holidays. But this is what you do need to worry about, Mr. Prime Minister. So we're marching along not Henley Beach Road, it's Sir Donald Bradman Drive. We're marching from Brooker Terrace to the offices just a short distance away of Senator Simon Birmingham. He's the most senior minister in the federal government based in Adelaide. So we want to bring home to him the importance of the climate crisis.
Yeah.
If only we could get emergency action like that on the climate. We don't have an ambulance racing to save us from the climate crisis. On Sir Donald Bradman Drive at peak hour. You can see the line of traffic. Lots of fossil fuel cars. Yes, the climate crisis is coming directly to Simon Birmingham's office. They've been ignoring it for so long.
What's that?
Hi, you're on live feed.
Right,
Say hi, Jamie.
How you doing? How you doing out there, Facebook? We're heading to Simon Birmingham offices now because, as I'm sure most of you are aware out there, Birmingham is not great on the climate crisis, not great on climate policy, and he's one of the main blockers in the Liberal Party for good climate action. So we're here to tell him I'm part of his constituency. I live just up in Torrensville. So, I mean, he's a senator, right? But, so he's everyone's constituent, really. But here I am, telling him what I think. Hopefully it goes well. Hopefully he can hear us. Fingers crossed, we'll see how it goes. Stick around.
Okay. Oh look, we've arrived now at Senator Simon Birmingham's office on Sir Donald Bradman Drive, where we're about to set up and let him know what we're doing. Whether or not he's here is not really the point. Here's the sign. Simon Birmingham, Senator for South Australia. We do have a couple of, well, 3 police officers here just to make sure, but there's nothing untoward going on, which of course there isn't. We're merely doing a public service, alerting a senior member of the government that there is a crisis unfolding under his watch, and that he and his government are on holiday, a climate holiday. It's all very well to go away on holiday and forget about your worries, but the climate emergency has not gone on holidays. The climate emergency is still happening. It's as bad as ever and getting worse by the day. Every day that this government delays doing something about the climate crisis is a day lost, is a day, one day less that we have to actually do something about it before the planet burns even more than it is burning right now. Extinction Rebellion rebels are here to bring this home to the most senior South Australian minister in the federal government, Senator Simon Birmingham. And the message is, Make that sure that stays in position. A little bit of setting up to do. Jamie with the XR flag. Ronnie dressed immaculately in her Hawaiian shirt. You should go away on holidays. Oh, with a drink. What's the music? Summer holiday. Climate holiday for this government. Emergency! A climate emergency! Oh, we have a special visitor. Mr. Morrison! Sir, thank you for coming along to our climate holiday.
Oh, really? Oh, good for holiday.
Holiday.
Happy holidays, guys!
And it's for the benefit of this person. Well, as you might have noticed just a moment ago, we have a very special visitor. The Prime Minister has dropped in from his holiday. He's been on a climate holiday for a very long time.
sittings. Who's this over here in the chair? How good's he? Okay. Today we're gathered here because we want to hear from somebody important. I'd like to introduce to you all Scotty from marketing. Scotty, where are you? Scotty, you're wanted. Oh, he's on a holiday. Do we want to hear from our Prime Minister? Yes! Loaded question. Okay, come on, Scotty, get up out of your chair. Come on, mate. Put your cocktail down. Come on, Scotty. Come on, put your cocktail down. That's it. Put your cocktail down. Come on up to the podium. Yes, you're supposed to make a speech, mate. You're the Prime Minister. Give it a hand,
Tell us what we want to hear.
Come on, Scotty.
Oh, well, yeah, no, well, look, hang on, get myself organised here. Thanks very much for that introduction. You know what, there's nothing I like more than cutting my holidays short to talk to you, the people of Australia, my beloved fellow Australians, and the wonderful free press about important subjects like this one. Don't be afraid, don't be scared. It's cool, Mr. Speaker. Huh? What? Oh, no, sorry, wrong speech. Yeah, look, I'll come back to that later. Always good to have one on hand, you know, just in case. Now, here we are. Yeah, you want me to tell you something about finally taking responsibility for my government's abject failure to address the climate crisis, don't you?
Yeah!
Well, now, this is a bit awkward, isn't it? Anyway, first things first, may I just say hello and good morning to you all. Or should that be aloha? Just kidding. I did another holiday this summer, but you'll be pleased to know I was nowhere near Hawaii. Where the bloody hell was I? Well, that's an on-water matter, isn't it? All I can say is I know my deputy, the very talented Michael McCormack, did a fine job during my brief absence, barely using any far-right signals and slogans at all. In fact, the deputy PM did what the Australian people wanted him to do. He got on with the job, and that's what my government will continue to do. Now, it's my great pleasure to be here in Adelaide, the home city of my esteemed colleague, the Honourable Simon Birmingham, Minister for Finance and Vice President of the Executive Council. Now, sadly, Simon could not be here today, but he assures me he is in Canberra, getting on with the job, and absolutely not on holiday. Now, we stand today in the shadow of the recent Adelaide Hills bushfires going on in Perth as we speak, which destroyed numerous homes, outbuildings and vehicles, and burnt thousands of hectares of land, almost thousands of hectares of land amidst extreme heat. Now we stand too in an even longer, darker shadow, that of the terrible fires which were ravaging vast tracts of this country last summer. Countless lives, both human and animal, were lost, homes destroyed, millions of hectares of land burned. In past times when Australia has been tested by fire, we've given the fires a name based on the name of the day or the locality, such as Ash Wednesday or the Canberra bushfires. But to this terrible list we can now add what have been called the Black Summer fires. Now some of you have even referred to them as Australia's first climate fires, or worse still, ScoMo's fires.
Yes!
But I was sunning myself in beautiful Hawaii. At the time, so they could hardly be mine now, could they? I don't hold the hose, mate. Look, I'm the first to admit that our summers are getting longer, drier and hotter. That's what climate change does, and we must respond robustly and resolutely. Now, with this in mind, 1 year ago to this day, I announced a Royal Commission to get to the bottom of the fires. And in that speech, arguably one of my best, if I do say so myself, I noted that these fires are yet to end, and danger is still before us in many, many places. But today, we gather to mourn, honour, reflect, and begin to learn from the black summer that continues. Probably not the time to be talking about climate change. Now, some of you might say the government I lead should be doing more to prevent catastrophic bushfires in the future.
Yes!
Some of you might say our lack of coherent climate policy is irresponsible and negligent.
Yes!
I know that 84% of Australians want to see action on climate change, but the LNP government receives millions of dollars in donations from fossil fuel polluters. So that's hardly a reasonable demand, now is it? That's why we think that this COVID-managed economy needs right now, we need a gas-led recovery. After all, if you don't pay for a go, you don't get a go. Am I right? Am I right? Now, some of you might point to the 120 countries that have set net zero emissions targets and say that we should be doing the same.
Yeah!
Well, this is Australia. What we want to do, what we won't do, is be shamed by the responsible actions of our powerful allies into taking meaningful action to prevent the end of the world as we know it. Which is definitely not something me and my fellow happy clappers are looking forward to. I'm sorry. Here, we play cricket, we eat Vegemite, and we wear thongs to the office.
What?
So, no unaccountable international bureaucracy is going to tell us what to do. We decide our climate policy, and we're getting on with the job. Beating ourselves. Our targets. So, we stand side by side with our powerful fossil fuel and banking friends, confident that our positions of wealth, power and status will minimise the direct impacts of the climate catastrophe from the financial health of the LNP quiet Australians, without whom I care so much.
What do we think about quiet Australian people?
As I believe, hang on, wait on, give me a chance, just give me a chance. As I believe I've said many times before, we smashed our Kyoto targets, and without hardly any special treatment at all, and certainly no carbon tax. So we'll meet our Paris targets with the absolute bare minimum of dodgy accounting. Just ask Simon, as finance minister, he knows all about it. Now look, climate change is scary, but as long as I'm in the country, dadding it in my board shorts and shark's cap, there's nothing to worry about. We don't need emissions targets, and we definitely don't need responsible decision making. No government is committed to providing the weak, uninspiring and morally bankrupt leadership the great Australian public have come to know and love. The last thing we want is for dinky-die Aussie kids to pay too much attention to what the scientists are telling us and grow up feeling anxious about the future. They should be in school. They should be looking forward to a lifetime of cooking curries and building chicken coops, just like the wife, the family and me. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got to get back to my cocktail. The heat here is making me absolutely parched. Hey, I'll tell you what, how good's Australia? How good's Australia, eh? Yeah, beauty.
You wait there, you get back up there.
What?
Some people have some questions for you.
Oh, God. Oh.
Okay, koalas,
So
bushfire survivors, fiery, please come forward.
apparently I agreed to answer some questions. I don't remember that, but perhaps the Deputy PM agreed during my brief absence. Anyway,
Well, now you can shut up and listen.
let's get this over with so we can all get back to sunbathing in this glorious weather. Yeah? Who's first? Who's first? Come on.
Okay, Mr. Fiery, what's your question, please?
A couple of weeks ago, NASA announced that 2020 was the hottest year on record, despite a La Nina event. What are you going to do to ensure fireys like us don't have to confront a hotter and more dangerous bushfire season every year?
What am I doing? What aren't I doing? I will continue to give the states primary responsibility for aerial firefighting while defunding the ABC and propping up News Limited in any way I can. And half-price super dupers for everyone. Next.
Okay, koala, you poor burnt little thing. Come up here, darling. What have you got to say?
Well, 61,000 of my koala mates died in the bushfires, and over 3 billion animals, 3 billion altogether. According to the Dermot Gorman, Chief Executive of Worldwide Funds for Nature, the fires were one of the worst wildfires disasters in modern history across the world.
Shame.
What can you say to me and my fellow animals that will convince us that nothing like this will ever happen again?
Mate, you're a koala, in case you hadn't noticed. One, you look alright to me, and two, the last time I checked, you can't vote or make political donations. Next.
Shame. Okay, you got one more question, ScoMo?
Keep them coming.
We've got a bushfire survivor here.
Okay.
She's just been out there trying to save her home and the homes of her neighbours. Come forward, please, darling. What have you got to say?
Well, first of all, I don't really want to be standing here with you, ScoMo. But I'm going to say what I need to say. For all of us. Because there's a very, very clear link between greenhouse gas emissions and a warming climate, which is leading to more and more extreme events, like floods, droughts and fires, like the fire happening in WA right now.
Yeah!
And Australia, this country, has become an international pariah when it comes to climate change action.
Shame! Shame!
Many of our neighbours and trading partners, including Japan, China, South Korea, New Zealand, the US and the UK, have all agreed to cut their emissions to net zero by 2050. Why won't you, ScoMo? Why won't you show some leadership and commit your government and this country, us Australians, all of us, to an ambitious target now? We need this now.
What do we want? Climate action! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Climate action! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Climate action! When do we want it? Now! When do we want climate action? When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Climate action! When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want?
I wonder whether Senator Simon Birmingham's got the message.
Okay, let's do some chanting again. Okay, more chanting. Yeah, let's do it. You lead, come on. Oh, yeah, I can see that.
We're outside the offices of Senator Simon Birmingham on Sir Donald Bradman Drive at Mile End to stop the climate holiday.
Do what we've been doing.
This government has been on holiday from climate action for years and years. There's a time for a holiday and there's a time for action. And it's far, far past time for action.
What do we want? When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Climate action! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Climate action! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Climate action! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Climate action! Now! Climate action! Now!
Thank you for watching.
Brother.